For decades, our understanding of the atom was dominated by the idea of tiny, solid spheres orbiting a center point. You have likely seen the classic planetary models proposed by J.J. Thomson, by Ernest Rutherford, and by Niels Bohr. These models rely on a standard triad of subatomic particles, protons and neutrons locked in the center, with electrons whirling around them. But that visual is deeply flawed. It treats these subatomic particles as solid, static, inert building blocks of matter. The reality of the atom is entirely different. Inside the nucleus, it is a boiling, chaotic quantum space, constantly in motion. When you examine this space, you immediately run into a paradox. If you could somehow isolate the physical components that make up a proton and weigh them, they account for barely 1% of the proton's total mass. Then there is the second paradox. An isolated free neutron will disintegrate entirely on its own in roughly 10 minutes. Yet, the atoms making up the world around us have remained perfectly stable for billions of years. To solve these contradictions, we have to look across an immense gap in scale, moving from the tiny, incredibly dense nucleus out to the distant boundary of the atom itself. We must abandon the idea of static physical blocks. Understanding atomic matter requires looking at the high-energy force balances that literally generate mass and lock otherwise unstable particles together. We start by going straight into the center of the nucleus to examine its primary inhabitants, protons and neutrons, collectively known as nucleons. These nucleons are not fundamental particles. They are composite structures built from smaller primordial ingredients called valence quarks. Quarks come in distinct varieties, or flavors, but inside the nucleus we only deal with two, up quarks and down quarks. A proton is two up quarks and one down quark. A neutron is one up and two down. Up quarks carry positive 2/3 charge, down a negative 1/3. Added together, the proton is +1, and the neutron balances perfectly to 0. High-energy scattering experiments show that the intrinsic mass of these quarks is incredibly small, less than 5 megaelectronvolts over c². Combined, the quarks account for about 1% of the nucleon's total mass. The missing mass is hidden between them. Quarks continuously exchange gluons, carrying color charge. This creates a dense gluon field producing virtual quarks and antiquarks. Quantum chromodynamics, or QCD, describes this high-speed exchange as the strong interaction. The strength of this interaction is immense. Following Einstein's mass-energy equivalence, the enormous kinetic and binding energy within this restless gluon field is directly responsible for generating the remaining 99% of the nucleon's mass. The weight of everyday objects does not come from physical stuff. It is generated by the kinetic energy of quantum fields. If we shift our scale upwards and look at the interaction between two separate nucleons, we find another high-energy dynamic. The strong interaction does not stay entirely inside the nucleon. A residual strong nuclear force bleeds out, pulling neighboring protons and neutrons together through the exchange of particles called pi mesons, or pions. This chart plots the strong nuclear force on the y-axis against distance in femtometers on the x-axis. When separated by more than 5 femtometers, the force is inactive. But as they move closer, peaking around 1.3 femtometers, the force becomes fiercely attractive, pulling particles together. If they get too close, however, less than 0.7 femtometers apart, the force sharply reverses. It becomes violently repulsive, preventing the nucleons from crushing into each other. For protons, there is a conflicting force at play. Because they all carry a positive electric charge, they exert a continuous electromagnetic repulsion that threatens to tear the entire nucleus apart. When we overlay the electromagnetic force curve and calculate the resultant forces, we see a highly specific window. The nucleons can only stick together in the exact distance sweet spot where the attractive strong force successfully overpowers the electromagnetic repulsion. The atomic nucleus survives entirely because it is trapped inside this incredibly narrow, high-tension equilibrium between quantum attraction and electromagnetic repulsion. This creates a serious structural problem for larger atoms. As you add more protons, their cumulative electromagnetic repulsion grows exponentially. This is where the neutron steps in to act as nuclear cement. Because neutrons are uncharged, they do not contribute to the electromagnetic repulsion, but they do exert the strong nuclear force, binding tightly to all the other nucleons around them. This resolves our second paradox. A lone neutron will decay in 10 minutes, but inside an atomic nucleus, the intense strong force field permanently stabilizes it. This image shows the standard notation to track this subatomic balance. The atomic number, Z at the bottom, is the count of protons, strictly determining the element's chemical identity. The mass number, A at the top, is the total number of protons and neutrons combined. This notation helps us understand elemental variations, like chlorine. These atoms are isotopes, chemically identical with 17 protons each, but different mass numbers, 35 and 37. Subtracting the atomic number from the mass number reveals one has 18 neutrons, while the heavier version has 20. Neutrons act as a variable balancing mechanism. They allow the universe to create perfectly stable, varying weights of the exact same chemical element. If we zoom rapidly outward from the dense femtometer scale of the nucleus, we enter the vast, mostly empty void of the atom's outer boundary. Here, we find the final particle in our subatomic triad, the electron. Unlike protons and neutrons, the electron is a fundamental particle, meaning it is not made of smaller components. It is also incredibly light, with a mass roughly 1/2000th that of a single proton. These electrons arrange themselves around the nucleus in specific energy levels, categorized precisely into shells and subshells. This arrangement is governed by the Pauli exclusion principle. Conceptually, this states that no two electrons can occupy the exact same quantum state simultaneously. Because they cannot share identical states, electrons are forbidden from all collapsing into the lowest possible energy level. Instead, the exclusion principle forces them to stack into distinct, layered architectural shells. This final rule creates the atom's macrobalance. The tiny, massive, highly concentrated positive nucleus is perfectly neutralized by this vast, nearly massless negative electron cloud. That specific process of shell filling directly dictates the position and behavior of every element on the periodic table. Subatomic particles are not inert spheres snapping together. They exist as a highly dynamic hierarchy, from massless gluon energy generating physical mass to neutron cement stabilizing the nucleus, all surrounded by an electron architecture that determines every chemical interaction in the universe.